Good morning. It's so wonderful to see all these beautiful faces, these beautiful people that have made the effort and the desire to be here is big. Thank you for making this time here. And it's a time when we all see that, there's a fire in the nearby area, and it's right now, I think that last I heard it was 0 contained, but thank the elements of the earth, thank Spirit that it's calm, the winds are calm, and it stays this way so that this fire can not harm the animals, gives them time to escape and get somewhere else, not harm the people, not harm the fighters that are fighting it, and not harm the homes of the people. I mean, the thought of just having to leave your attachments in a minute, that's a hard thing to do, and not knowing if they're going to be there when you get back. Maybe people have experienced that already, but for us to know that we are sending this energy out to nature for protection in all means. But I want to also thank you for being here for this wonderful time to gather together for our Sunday service. So before we start this service on fanning the fuel of love that ignites the fire of devotion and propelling us towards spiritual growth, I'd like us all, a good thing to do is to pause a moment in quiet. Close your eyes and just feel the presence here in this room, in the space within you and around you, and just call in this presence within you. Let it work through your mind, soothing your thoughts, work through your breath. Feel it in your heart, in your whole being, your whole body, all the way to your feet. And we draw it back up again. Just feel the presence. And as you sit there in your heart, with your eyes focused at the spiritual eye, take a moment and ask for whatever it is you want to ask. To allow that presence to work through you this day. What you say, what you think, what you do, your actions. And then be here now, in this moment, and open our eyes. This is a wonderful act to do. Take those pauses throughout the day. Just that brief pause is so powerful in guiding our life and keeping that relationship alive that we are cultivating. Lately, if you've been looking at some of the news and things, you see athletes preparing for the Olympics. And it's just amazing what they are able to do with their focus, with their commitment, their dedication, their devotion to their practice. And they give it all they can. And they have to work on staying focused from all the outer activities, the outer sensory input, and stay focused on their work, on their journey. And it reminds me a lot of meditation, because that is so much of a key point of meditation. And it also brought to mind, when I was contemplating on this topic, an interview by Dan Rather, who was an anchorman many years ago, and Mother Teresa. And he asked Mother Teresa, in your time of prayer, what do you actually say to God? And Mother Teresa said, I don't talk to God, I listen. And that he couldn't quite understand. So he asks, well, what does God say to you? And she said, God doesn't talk to me, he listens. She listens. And later, Mother Teresa said something like, if you don't understand that, I can't really explain it to you. And that brings us into seeing how, through your prayer, contemplation, meditation, as you begin to quiet down, be able to have the restlessness in your body and your thoughts be in that place of stillness. It takes practice, just like those athletes. Spiritual athletes need practice too, to stay on this path. Because it's in that place to be still and know that I am God. That's where you listen. And that's what Mother Teresa was trying to describe in that space, which is the treasure chest of divine inspiration, love, and devotion. And that is the journey we're all on. That she was able to, in her quietness of her time of contemplation, where she put her prayers aside and just focused on the deep, like almost the big blue sky. And thoughts were like the clouds floating by, but not putting attention on the clouds, but focusing on the stillness of the sky and finding a point right in front of her single spiritual eye, a place to focus on the smallest of all places in the largest of all spaces of the sky. And she listened. And God listened. And that filled her, touched her in that divine, intimate relationship with God. That takes practice. Just like the athlete, the spiritual athlete, it takes practice, but it is possible. And for us to enjoy the journey. We have all come from that space of that sky, of that joy, ever existing. Consciousness, bliss. And we can live in that consciousness while we exist in our daily life, like right now. And take it with us as a practice. And we can and will merge with that ocean of joy, of consciousness from where we came from. So where does love and the fuel that ignites the fire of devotion, it propels us toward our spiritual growth, to that communion, that relationship, that union of our soul with God, with divinity. So how can we awaken this love and develop this devotion for God in our daily life that ignites the fires of devotion and propel us onward? How can we make our continued spiritual practice and progress, especially in those times when we feel empty, when we feel dry, when we're distracted, we're not feeling anything when we pray or meditate. We're too restless. We can't sit there. And the meditation technique is just becoming mechanical. I don't feel anything. I'm just doing my mind is just doing it. I don't feel any love or devotion. I'm quite sure we all come to those places in our journey. Well, this is the time that we need to remember to focus on loving God in any way or form that is right for you, and to love with all your heart, with all your soul and mind. Yogananda once said, "You must long for God with the same urgency that the drowning person gasps for breath as he goes down for the third time." That much desire, that much focus. It's not an easy thing to do today, especially with all the technology that is right at our fingertips all day, and sometimes all night. But keep these things that destroy and move our senses that are constantly pulling us outward, 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 and draw them so that you can interiorize your mind to be here now. It's a very hard thing to do because we're so accustomed to having communication right in our hand that is continually drawing us outward. And our senses are pulling us to everything, more so than any time probably in the past, before all these things of technology were available. So we all the more, just like those athletes doing those amazing feats, have to focus. We too have to focus our sensory awareness, the discipline it takes to move it inward and be here in the quietness, the stillness of our soul. It takes practice, but let us enjoy the journey and see the gift it brings. As this love grows in us, just like any intimate and personal relationship, it cultivates the power of devotion within our hearts, souls, and minds. And it will begin to make our prayers, meditations, and our life come more alive with virtue, with joy, with happiness, with freedom and contentment. Something we all want in our life. Brother Norman, who had such a heart of devotion and love for God, and that he gave, and this gave him the power to do many of the amazing things he did while he was here, physically. He spoke to us about the time when he was in the monastery with Paramahansa Yogananda as his teacher, And Yogananda would coach his students to get devotion. Get devotion. God is moved by your love and devotion. He instilled in his students that God responds more quickly to your love and devotion than to your intellectual questions and doubts, and that love overcomes your doubts and fears. So get devotion. So here are some key ways that we can cultivate this love and devotion for God. One is by having a daily meditation practice. Even if it's just for a short moment in the day and night, to have that time to develop that relationship with God. It takes time to cultivate and grow your love and devotion. But with proper meditation techniques and daily practice, you will find yourself moving into loving God with all your heart, mind, and soul. And begin to see that love move outwardly and begin to see it in all beings around you. So using a technique such as Kriya Yoga that we offer here opens the natural love of the heart. And by moving this love up into the spiritual eye, the Christ center, as an offering to the divine presence, this alone is an act of love that cultivates devotion. Sri Yukteswar, which was Paramahansa Yogananda's teacher, said, you must open the natural love of the heart. So how do we do this? It's through a practice. It takes time. Just like in any relationship of getting to know someone, it takes time, and it takes more time to develop this relationship because it's inward. It's you have to use your inner senses of feeling, of sight, of listening. But it brings all the more to the outward love, where you're no longer grasping or finding who's going to love you, because you become love as you develop it within you. You are complete. You are love. And if you find someone else in your life to share that love with, it's not that you're grasping that for love. You're sharing what you have and growing it together. But it has to start within to be able to see it without and with others. And it's important in your technique of prayer and meditation, of feeling and opening the heart and bringing that to the spiritual eye, that emotion, that feeling of whatever devotion you are cultivating, not to just keep it in the heart, but offering it up to this Christ center, the spiritual eye, as an offering to the divine creator. And this is a powerful tool of cultivating devotion and love for God. And it's super important after you practice any technique or technique of Kriya, don't just get up and walk away and start the day. Because it's like not eating the dessert of your meal. You've just prepared your whole vessel, your whole body and mind to feel that devotion and love, to quiet the senses down, to draw them in, to prepare the vehicle like a car. You arrived at your destination. This is important time. Let the technique go. And see if you can sit in that space of stillness and listen. Intently listen. You may begin to feel the cosmic vibration itself of the big sky that we just talked about. It has a vibration. Or you may begin to see in that little part of where you're focusing a little star in that sky. But it's okay if you don't. Just sit there and listen, like Mother Teresa said. Keeping your gaze steady at the spiritual eye as long as you can, absorbed in the presence of the divine, beyond thoughts, to be still and know that I am God, to feel that peace, that joy, as you silently commune with the divine. This practice takes discipline, but it is the treasure chest. It is the treasure chest of cultivating a deep love and devotion to God. Another way of cultivating devotion, as Paramahansa Yogananda would say, is through chanting. And sometimes in chanting and singing devotional songs, it can be kind of just read the words and be mental. But if you can let the heart sing, feel it in your heart, it will open your heart to open up and sing those songs with your heart. They're usually simple words, not so mental. To be there and just sing in the heart. And this will open the heart where you begin to feel devotion and love. And another way is just like we started the service, is by practicing throughout the day your presence, walking in the presence of God. Everything we do, everything, just notice those moments. Maybe God is listening to you and you caught it, and you smile and you listen. Something you say, something you're doing or seeing, using your outer senses with that devotion and love for God. It makes life so alive and so complete with that companion, the beloved, the love, the lover, the beloved, your closest and dearest friend that is constantly with you all the time. That consciousness is with us. But like within any relationship, you have to develop it. You have to work it. Without judgment, just practice, and it comes. It comes, and it's all you can have that you can think of in life and what you're doing. It's a constant companion. And another important thing is through your works of what you're doing. Not to be grumpy in everything you're doing, no matter what it is, if it's shoveling a pit or being president. Whatever it is, just do it with utmost devotion and do the best you can in whatever we're asked to do, knowing it is the divine working through you, working through your hands, through your heart, through your voice, through your love. It is that communion, that companion that is working through the works you are doing. And catch yourself throughout the day. It's a joy. It doesn't have to be all hardship in this density of life. It doesn't mean we haven't many challenges. It doesn't mean life is just a rose. It means there's lots of thorns in the pathway. But you have this inner part of you that is not rocking the boat. It's holding you steady. If you hold on to it, And it is with us through our works, and it'll make work a joy no matter what we're doing. It'll make your work knowing that you are doing a service for the betterment of your own being, but the betterment of others and life. And it's important in that work, as in karma yoga, not to be attached to the rewards or the results of that work. That's the offering to Spirit. I do this for you, Spirit. So, whatever actions you perform, this is a statement, from the Bhagavad Gita, to Arjuna, who was the spiritual warrior, and Spirit was saying to him, whatever actions you perform, Arjuna, whether in eating or in observing spiritual rites, or in gift bestowing, or in self-disciplining, dedicate them all as an offering to me. And as you work this practice, you will begin to see divine love in all beings and in all creation around you. You take walks in nature and you notice that flower. You notice that seashell. You notice that beautiful tree. You begin to notice more of life, from that little seed to that blooming of that plant, to that flower. You see it in the wave of the ocean. You see it in the stars at night. Everything comes more alive through this power of devotion and love. You begin to see the divine love in all beings and in all creation around you. For love is God. Life is God. And it is everywhere and in everything. So it's time now for us to move into our quiet time of prayer and meditation. And as Brother Norm wrote in Sacred Science, he said to go into your meditation, and after you practiced your meditation in that contemplative time, feel the stillness, the peace. Focus your one-pointed concentration on the best mental concept you have of God in whatever form you are most familiar. And in the Bhagavad Gita it states, in whatever way people are devoted to me, in that measure according to their desire, understanding, and mode of worship, I manifest myself to them. So let us get comfortably still, comfortably seated, so that you can find yourself able to sit still for these moments together, about 15 minutes in quiet prayer and meditation. And as you sit quiet, bring awareness to your whole body, and just feel this presence with your breath, relaxing your body, connecting with your breath. Bring this awareness to the heart center, which is our place of feeling. And just open the doors of your heart to this presence that is here right now. And at the same time, focus the gaze of your eyes at that point, right between the eyebrows, without any strain, as if looking out at that tiny star in that big sky. Clouds of thoughts may come by, but don't ride on them. Let them be as they just do and drift into consciousness. And be here now in this space of prayer, contemplation, and meditation. Whatever technique you're doing, let it go and sit here in this stillness, in this silence, keeping the gaze focused on the dark blue sky in front of your gaze. In whatever form of the beloved, that you see that face or that tiny star appear, and listen. Now offer a prayer or a chant in your mind out to that image. Offer your love. And feel it in your heart, in your soul, in your mind. And let us now end with the cosmic sound of the sky itself, the consciousness, the existence, the bliss of spirit, the vibration of God, the Word of God. To close, I'd like to read from Paulsen in his life, Love God on Devotion. Efforts made toward God never go unnoticed. Our Creator is always watching and waiting for that time when you are able to speak from your heart, saying, "It is you I love, only you." God has everything but your love. You have been given free will to love the divine or not. The image of the divine, as imagined by you, creates the receptacle to receive your love and devotion. Moved by your deep love, God responds mightily and personally in your life. May we carry this gift of spirit with us in our hearts, in our souls and our minds, throughout the day, throughout the night, and throughout our life and our works and play.
Seek Him in the morning, seek Him late at night. Him in your meditations on His brilliant light. And when at last you find Him, never let Him go. His love, it is unending, it will grow and grow and grow.
Carry His love inside you like water from the well. It's precious and it's holy, and it's not too hard to tell that when He comes upon you like a waterfall of light, if you live for Him in the daytime, He'll carry you away at night.
Seek Him in the morning, seek Him late at night. Seek Him in your meditations on His brilliant light. And when at last you find Him, never let Him go. His love, it is unending, it will grow and grow and grow.
One that was with you before you had a name. His love, it is unchanging, it will always be the same. He's always been your lover, you know, He's always been your friend. He was with you in the beginning, and He'll be with you in the end.
Seek Him in the morning, seek Him late at night. Seek Him in your meditations on His brilliant light. And when at last you find Him, never let Him go. His love, it is unending, it will grow and grow and grow. How much do you love Him? How much do you care? To find Him and to know Him, nothing can compare. So give yourself unto Him, give your life away. You'll find it all returning like the sun that grows brighter every day. Seek Him in the morning, seek Him late at night. Seek Him in your meditations on His brilliant light. And when at last you find Him, never let Him go. His love, it is unending, it will grow and grow and grow. And when at last you find Him, never let Him go.